You and that damn record button.
I know, man. I'm having the roughest
We
time with our
found it.
thing. All right. First off, our podcast is part of the You Run Podcast Network, where you can find all sorts of fun and exciting podcasts just like ours. You can check them out in the show notes. And with that, welcome to the Paranormal Misfits podcast, where the curious roam, the weird feels at home, and horror is just another day in the office. I am your host, Chrissy.
And I'm your co-host, Nino Daniel. Hi.
Hi. What do you
So,
have for us today?
geez, I was gonna ask the audience how the hell they're
No.
doing, but I guess not. The
No, we're
fuck.
gonna bypass the audience today.
So we're bypassing the audience. Hey guys, today we have a very special guest. This is one of my best friends that I got to meet in college, and we've stuck together ever since. Unfortunately for her, she stuck with me for life. Not just because she's pretty and talented and gorgeous and beautiful and humble and entrepreneurial and smart and amazing, but also because she knows too much. She knows way too fucking much about my life. She could write a tell-all and fucking ruin me. So, Keyvonna, thank you for joining us today. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hey, audience. Name's Keyvonna. I go by Kiki a lot. It's probably easier for you guys to remember. What am I doing these days? Struggling entrepreneur. Can't even say the word. I had a business previously, closed it down, so now I'm starting a new one. So I'm just trying to get the ball rolling for that. So good things coming, and I'm not gonna drop the name on it just yet because once you start dropping names and stuff, everybody's like, "Where can I find it? Where can I get it?" And it's just okay. So maybe I'll drop it another day for you.
Maybe.
You guys can add it in the future.
There you go.
But yeah, naturally a New Yorker. Came to Arizona where I met Nino, and we've been besties since. Love you, boy.
Love you,
And
baby.
I think ever since forever, I've always had spiritual encounters, and I think I just dropped them like bits and pieces throughout our lifetime as me and Nino go along. I'm like, the strangest thing happened to me. But and I
I
think
saw
what
a demon.
my
Oh,
biggest encounters this year, I should say, or like within the last few years, but this year, he's just like, bring your ass on this podcast. And I
Yeah,
was just like, now I gotta tell these people my business. And I was just like, okay, I can do
word for
this.
word. Word for word, I said, bring your ass on this podcast.
Yeah,
But
I cuss a lot, y'all. So
no, it's okay. I love Kiki so much. She stood up at the altar with me. So
Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't marry her, but I married a man.
well, damn,
So
we could have faked it. Shit,
I mean,
I would have
shit.
acted like we were in love. Damn, dangerously in love because
love
you're
you,
gay.
baby. Love you so much. You're Queen Bey and I'm King Gay. Like that's just how it works.
I love it. I
Well,
love it, and this is why we were.
and
Okay.
this is what it is. So Kibana brings up a really good thing that we wanted to talk about with y'all today, which is spiritual encounters. And I'm sure we've all had our fair share, have after the story in Bosnia with the grasshopper and all of the conundrums that came with my family. But I think today I wanted to, and Chrissy wanted to, just kind of shift focus from talking about us and seeing what Kivana has gone through in her life and experienced. And if I at any point need to take a bathroom break, I am on diabetes medication that makes me poop. So just in case you guys are wondering
Oh,
why we're going to have such long season breaks, it's because I'm still in the bathroom. So there's that.
there's that going for.
There's that going on. We have such a melting pot of different things with each of us today.
Chat.
Could be a little bit of a shitty
It's
situation for
gonna be
you, unintended. I'm
haha.
crying like I'm emotional, but I just got allergies, so excuse my eye wipes, y'all, as we go through this episode. I promise you I'm not crying because I'm getting emotional.
She's so happy that her best friend is co-starring on a podcast
Yeah,
and she's here.
exactly.
That's
As I wipe my eyes for that.
oh my gosh. As a reminder, you too can bring yourself to tears by purchasing Paranormal Misfits podcast merchandise.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, I love it.
Link
Get
in the
the
show
effing
notes.
merch.
Link in the show notes. McLeod just surprised me with Paranormal Misfits podcast merch, and I got to autograph it for him on my birthday.
That's so cute.
That's
So,
really
anyhow, bringing it back to Keeks. And you'll notice me call her different names, but you guys can't call her that because you're not on that term with her, so fuck off.
Not
Otherwise,
the
I'm gonna.
Keeks, but y'all can call me Kiki.
Yeah,
But
not the
Keeks
geeks.
is for special.
Don't
There you
call
go.
her that. Otherwise, I'm gonna send La Llorona to you. So he,
For his diabetes meds and heavy shit.
yeah, I'm gonna fucking put metformin in your fucking cereal,
Do you
bitches.
like diarrhea?
You sound like a show sponsor. Like, have you recently had a bowel movement? You might be entitled to financial compensation. Okay, so
Sure.
let's get into some discussion on like spiritual encounters. So I want to ask, like, Kiki, when did you start having these encounters? When did you start taking note of like, okay, something's different?
I'd say at a young age, they happen in like gaps, but I think it falls in line with the when you're an innocent child,
More
and then it falls
susceptible.
into yeah, and then it falls into the whole now that society's molded you, you have blockers up. So for a long time, I haven't had any encounters, like probably since I was like 9 or 10. And then fast forward to like 2019, 2020, I started having encounters again and it hasn't stopped. But when I was younger, my very first encounter I could quite frankly say was probably a scary one the most, but for me, I really didn't even care. Just so y'all know, like I'm like the last person that could ever be moved when it comes to like pissing me off or frightening me. You and I go to like the fucking haunted houses, you already know, and like put you on blast, like about like, let's go to the haunted house, let's go to the haunted house. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And he's like, who's gonna leave the barn? Because it's not me. Like, to go. I'm
And you know
these
what?
motherfuckers.
And
Let's
you know
go.
what? I When I tell you I was a smart friend before I was a smart friend, that's me. I would bury my forehead in her back.
I literally had to throw a shirt out one
No,
one
I
time we went to
literally
a
would like
night.
grip her shoulders and
He
shove.
was pulling and my skin. He was pulling through my shirt on my
Oh no.
skin, yanking. Cause like I mean, this is a
Maybe
really
that's why the
like
spiritual
I'm
encounters
happy with that.
stopped. Maybe that's why they stopped because I pulled them out. I don't know.
There you go.
But yeah, he like literally like pulled my thread. But like I'm that person where like I'm not afraid. Like if you tell me that's a haunted house that I need to use the bathroom, I'm going to that motherfucking bathroom. I'm not pissing myself.
That's right. Go straight.
She
And ghost beware. I might pee on you. I'm going to the damn bathroom.
she going,
Anyway,
damn, not Keyvonna R. Kellying a ghost. Shit.
but anyway, needless to say, I've never been like quite scared. So my first encounter actually was I remember I was at home, like drawing, and I used to always draw on the floor, watch TV. I used to just stay on BET all day when music videos was actually playing the whole day. So I remember I would just leave it
Mm,
on the couch, the remote, and then I would just draw on the floor. So needless to say, with those details, I'm on the floor drawing, and 666 pops up in the corner of the freaking screen, and it just stays. And nobody, and I'm the only one in the house at this time. And so I'm like, maybe somebody else is in the house and they're like playing with me and they got like another remote. Cause if you got one Samsung remote and you got 5 Samsungs in your house, one remote
you're
don't work.
yeah.
All them goddamn Samsung. So I'm like, playing with these goddamn and I'm just like, this. So I like literally like was thinking like maybe what like my brother or my cousin was in the house like playing with me. So I like got up to like search the house and I was like, I don't know, I wasn't there. I went to go search and I wasn't home alone. But then when I came back to check on the TV and to get back to what I was doing, now the whole screen is just blue, but it still says 666 at the top. I'm like, fuck this TV, and I just
Nope.
turn it off.
If
And
it
the
was
thing,
a poltergeist, that would have got like solved everything, all of their problems right there. It
Had they
seems like
just
the
shut off the
witchy did.
TV, had somebody been like, fuck this electricity bill, and just like unplugged it.
totally. So I was like, fuck the TV. And, at the time, I'm like, I grew up in the church, but I was the kid who wasn't like being forced to pay attention to church. Like, let me play Game Boy, he let me color. Because other than that, I got resting bitch face. So I used to give the pastor a death stare, like, can you hurry up and end this service? What are we doing here?
Bye.
I'm like, this is boring. I don't want to be here. And so
Not
I
this
would
is
just give the death
boring.
stare. Man, I mean, you're talking to like 6, 7, and I'm just like, what? And he's like, turn your pages. And I'm like, I don't want to grab the Bible. Like, I'm trying to beat Donkey Kong here. But, so I knew this was bad, but I didn't know to what extent it was bad because I never paid attention in church. So I've been in church for years, right? And so my mom was home and I told her what happened. So she's like, can I see it again? So I turned the TV on. we're watching music videos for a little bit of time and nothing's happening. So she's like, you know, she walks off and then she goes upstairs and I'm drawing again for like maybe like 5 minutes, 666 pops back up on the screen. And like, you know, this is the time before phones and cell phones and shit, so it's not like I can just whip my phone out, you know, I'm not going to throw
Take
an
a
age out
picture
there,
or
but just
something.
know that I wasn't taking a goddamn photo at this time, people. So,
She took a
but
photo with her pager.
yeah, with my soul, I took it, and with my eyes, because that's all that we had at this time.
We brought in a payphone and just took a snapshot.
There you go.
I tell my mom, she comes back down the stairs, and then like there's nothing on the TV again, but the TV is blue screen, but the 666 is gone. And I'm like, oh, the same thing happened before. And I was like, and she's just like, whatever, you know. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So I guess
Whoa.
like that was like my first true encounter. And then like I remember like a few weeks later, I kept on turning on the sink, and every time the water would come down, as soon as it hit, it would like slap the bottom, and it almost make like this big combustion noise and like a big pop happening at the bottom. It would be like crazy. So here I go again, getting my mom. I'm like, the craziest thing keeps happening when I turn on the sink, and I was like, it keeps on like blowing up in the sinks once the water hits the bottom for the first time. So she goes and she keeps turning on the sink, and she's like playing around, like looking at me like, really? Like, are you just playing these games because you're bored in the house? And I'm like, dude, there's something wrong with this goddamn sink. It's not me. And she's just like, uh-huh. And I'm just like, it's like a bomb. And I was like, it's like on the underneath the sink or something. It keeps on like blowing up at the bottom. And she's just like, well, why isn't it burnt? Why wasn't it blown up? And I'm just
Oh
like,
my
never
gosh.
mind. We never had this conversation.
Oh,
But I
no.
could have just always ignored them all the time just because like it's dumb when it's like a child trying to tell you like they hear or see these things. And I never saw. But like things would just encounter, and my mom just be like, okay, like you're bored. And I'm just
You're bored.
yeah.
Great imagination.
Right.
Maybe the spirits knew you were bored and they're like, hey, do
Yeah.
you want to play 666?
Man. How do you play that?
Do you want to play water thuds with me? Like this is gonna be
Water thud.
So did this ever like get to the point where like it affected like how you eat or travel or sleep or any relationships in your life other than your mother thinking you were bored?
No. As a kid, it never really bothered me, and I could say like I've only had like a little handful of experience as a kid that were very minor like that to the point where I didn't even think of it. And you know, my mom would just be like, just go play or whatever. I never felt like she was making me feel dumb. You know what I mean? I was just like, you didn't see it, I saw it, that's all that, like, I know that I'm not a liar. You know what I mean? And because I know that if I say something, it's the truth. But if you don't
True.
believe me, I'm not the person that's gonna sit there and like make you believe me for the rest of the day.
She's
Like
not
if
gonna
you like, I don't
gaslight
believe you,
or
cool.
gaslight.
Yeah, like I'm just be like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you gotta believe me. Like I'm just like, okay.
I said ghostlight. I meant gaslight.
Gaslight,
God.
gotcha.
It's all good. It's all
It's
good.
paranormal, right?
You know? So
Mhm.
I would say I would also want to know like, did any encounters happen or like anything happen like in spaces outside of your home?
Outside of my home, yes, but not spiritually. But like, you know how like sometimes you can like run into like a little bruja and you know it's a little witchy person. So
Yup.
like they call me out a lot in public, and you know to this day, you know, let me say I'm no professional, I'm nothing, you know, and so I don't know anything spiritually. I'm always like not in search, but like if I learn something great, but I'm not in search for like answers like that, you know. But needless to say, when I'm out, I do get stopped a lot by people who, to me, look and seem very witchy. And then they're like calling me out like I'm in the same team as them. And I'm like, I don't even know how to get in. But maybe I'm already on the team and I never tried out.
Maybe you're
But
the
I
real
have the
MVP.
strangest encounters when I'm out. Like every time, like there's like some like day where there's like a retrograde happening, or there's some specific stretch of moon that hasn't happened for a million years, or whatever. Like everybody's talking about it naturally, but like I'll be in the store, like for instance, like I think it was last year or the year before. Specifically, remember there was a strawberry moon. I have no idea what the hell it is because it wasn't red, y'all. But anyway,
Lord in heaven.
I'm in the grocery store and there's this
Lord
really,
in
really
heaven.
short lady. And she's like trying to read something at the top of the top shelf. Of course, it's that situation. So I'm trying to be nice, and I'm like passing by. So I'm like, let me just grab it for this lady. I'm like, is this what you want? And she's just like, when she saw me, and I'm like, bitch, answer me before I walk by. Like, I will let you fucking try and keep reaching this shit.
Do you want these Tostitos or not, bitch?
Yeah.
Like,
And she's like almost starstruck looking at me. And I'm like sensing like some vibes because I do like feel or sense energy and stuff like that. Although I don't know what it means, I just call it like a feeling, you know. But some people be like, "Oh no, that's something." I'm like, whatever, everybody got this shit. But she's just like starstruck looking at me, and I ain't nobody, so I'm looking at her like, "I'll just walk back off, and you gonna be reaching."
fine.
Problem. And she's like, "It's a strawberry moon tonight." She's like, "What are you gonna be doing?" And I'm like, "Well, if I could get these groceries, then so I could eat something before I say no." You know? And she's like, "It's a strawberry moon." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you want?" And
Is
she's
it like
like,
a milkshake
"Never mind."
thing
Yeah,
or?
she's like, "Never mind." And she's like looking at me like I missed it. And that wasn't the first encounter on that particular day either. So as I'm leaving the parking lot and somebody's coming in, God, they're dressed in all black, looking hella gothic and witchy. And she's like looking at me. She's like, "Oh, are you ready?" She goes, "Oh, you're ready for that strawberry moon, aren't you?"
What the hell are y'all talking
What is
about?
this
Yeah.
strawberry? Oh, you
To
know
this
what?
day, I still don't know.
Why I gotta be strawberry?
Oh no.
You know why it's gotta be strawberry? Because this story knew I was diabetic and strawberries have the least amount of sugar.
Stop it. Stop it.
This story knew. When you said strawberry moon, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, does that mean not that it has to get red, but like, does that mean the earth
Or like,
gonna be?
let me see the dots in it
Let
from
me
like the
see let me see
strawberry
the
seeds,
seeds or
something.
something. Is there gonna be a weird like dust ball that goes off on the moon that looks like stems? Like I don't know. I
Right.
wasn't there.
I have no idea.
I
No,
didn't
I
take
didn't do that.
biology like that. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
And this was in a grocery store?
Grocery store. I attract animals like crazy. Like anyone who like knows me, like if I
I
go,
will say, sorry, I do want to interject this. Keyvonna's been over to my house, obviously. My cat, Binks, God bless his soul. Shout out to Binks. Thanks for listening. So my cat physically hates everything.
Right.
My cat barely likes me. The only person my cat likes is
this
my
is true.
husband. And when Keyvonna came over, my cat was like, "What's up? We playing?"
Within like the first minute, like
Within
we've been
I'm not even
friends.
kidding you. Like literally like weaving in and out of her legs. Like she's like standing
Meowing.
still.
Okay.
My cat's like, "What's up? Purr purr." Like,
Yeah. Not a
then
cat
I
person.
approach
Like,
my cat and my cat's like, "Back the fuck off of me, gay man. You remember you don't like pussy." Like literally. So that's kind of like I can attest to that because
yeah.
genuinely my cat likes you and then our friend Liz.
Mm.
My cat don't even like my mama personally. Agree. But that's
Kind
all.
heart.
My mama? I'm not gonna put my personal business out on this fucking podcast.
I love you.
But
This little
I
inkling.
love all.
I
All right.
love so all of this going down in a grocery store, Keeks just wants to get some freaking
Yes.
Tostitos and wrap it up. Like so has it ever gotten to the point where like it's not necessarily like affected you in the way that you eat or travel or sleep, but have more than one person come up to you in like one after the other type of thing? Like if it was that lady in the grocery store, did
Yeah.
anyone come up to you after?
So the grocery store when I was walking out, that's when that all black lady dressed up was walking in and was like, "Oh, you ready?" And I was like, "For what?" And he was like,
If somebody looked at me and was like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Huh?" I'm over here thinking the freaking like purge gong is gonna go
"Man,
off.
am I just walking out with sweat tonight?"
Uh,
And then I totally
that's
knew she
right.
was the link that she mentioned it. I was like, "We ain't talking about these girls."
These Pringles ain't gonna pop themselves,
Man.
bitch. Like, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. That is.
So yeah.
Has has anyone in your family come forward and been like, by the way, we come from long
That's funny. Nobody's Harry Pottered me.
Damn it, fucking
Um,
shit.
yeah, an
I could have
owl
been a
didn't
wizard by
deliver
proxy.
a fucking
I
letter
know,
to
that's
me.
right.
My mom had me that would come from a line of any type of spirituality at all. However, my mom thinks that, there are some people who may have been spiritual on both sides of my family because both of my parents, like, they known each other since they were like kids. So they're very heavily vested on each side of the family. My mom is
Yeah.
like, I could totally see why you have some spiritualness to you. She's like, because I felt this vibe from your dad. My mom, she's all about like auras and energy and stuff. So I was kind of raised around her already, like always like telling me, which is what I thought was normal because I'm raised that way.
Right.
But she's always just like, I don't like their aura, or that's her thing. Did you
Don't
feel
like
their
their
aura?
aura.
Yeah, or should we like, did you sense their aura? So like, I've always kind of been raised like going like, oh, their aura is off. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I would say. But yeah, so my mom, in a sense, I guess you could say, in a spiritual way, even though she probably wouldn't like claim it, but she always like talks about people in their aura, which is usually right. Like even if it's like not right then and there, it could be like something was off about them. And like could have had like a great time because I'm judging them for them in that moment. And then like a week or so will go by and I'm like, damn, she like she was right. And
Yep.
so yeah, she's pretty good at picking up on like people's energies, even if you're coming with like your ego facade on to begin with. Like she's just like, take that off. We already see that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah. But yeah, I guess you could say there's like maybe a few people in my family, but they don't practice anything. We don't even talk about it. It just kind of is, I guess you could say. Or maybe it's just the way we are. I don't know. I feel like
Maybe.
everybody has some practice or some type of belief or whatever. You know what I mean? And if you hone in on it, then it'll just be.
Yeah.
Well, I get that. I was about to say, because I think when Nino first came on the podcast, we were talking about auras and then like
Oh yeah.
reading the rooms and stuff, and like how some people are just straight up
Mhm.
oblivious to like the absolute
Yeah.
like
Girl,
biggest
some people
energies
can't even
happening
read
in
a
a room.
vowel.
Right?
Girl.
So yeah, no, I totally get
Girl.
that.
Yeah.
I remember, just to share a little story about one of my interactions with Kiki's mom. I remember coming over to your house one time. I was so hungry. I done went into your kitchen and had like 2 slices of pizza. I didn't ask, and your mom
Or
was
wash
like,
your hands, which is a big thing. Go ahead.
yeah, your mom was like, don't do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, ah. Sometimes, like, when people do things, and I do it too, it's like, can't even get the words out because you have fucked up. And I'm like, yeah. Everything went wrong, but motherfucker, you have to roll with that. You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
But yeah.
We are going to take a quick little advertisement break, folks. And before that, we just obviously want to thank Keyvonna for being here thus far. We've got a little bit more time with
Course.
her. Click the show notes. Make sure you buy the Paranormal Misfits podcast merchandise. Feel free to give us 5 stars, subscribe, follow, share this episode with all of your friends, and feel free to interact with us wherever you're listening to this podcast. You're also welcome to send us suggestions as well. So enjoy this ad really quick, and we're going to be right bibbity boppity back.
Check out the latest episode of Dewey Pod Monster. This podcast is about consumption. They cover all kinds of subjects that can be consumed like beer, movies, music, spirits, and more. With this podcast, nothing is off limits. You can find them on most streaming platforms. Okay.
And we're back. See how quickly that goes?
I know.
Okay, so if you are just tuning in, shame on you. Start from the beginning.
How did you get here?
How did you get here? How did this
Skipped a
happen?
few.
1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100.
We made it. No.
So we are back talking with one of my best friends, Keyvonna, Kiki, and the name that I call her, which I've already mentioned, but now y'all can't call her that, so I'm not going to say it again. We're talking about
Yeah.
spiritual encounters. We're talking about those things that you see, hear, feel, taste, smell, touch, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, bro.
Because you're like, no, that's not real.
No, there's been, I mean, I think
Yeah.
like if you go back to the first episode where I guest starred on Paranormal Misfits podcast, I was talking about literally, Chrissy was mentioning this right before the break, like I was talking about hardcore experiences with the
Mhm.
spiritual side, so it's great to see that we have someone else here. Okay,
Fair.
that also knows what the fuck I'm feeling. And going back to her Keyvonna's first story, I'm pretty sure all she wanted to do was just watch TV and draw pictures, and the spirits were like, "No, bitch,
Nah, bitch.
Yeah. How
fuck
about them
you."
six?
About them 666. So I want to ask you now, kind of like with sharing your experience, I think that I'm kind of curious, and I'm sure Chrissy is too. Like, are there like any physical, mental, or emotional changes like in your body as these things are happening?
Like tells.
Like
Almost.
As
tells,
it's
or like do you get
happening,
waves?
I don't get waves, but I feel a lot of energy
Mhm.
at the time, like almost like radiating. So I know like if something is nearby. I like spoke about my childhood or whatever with the stories, but like more as an adult things happen to me now than anything where like even in my house sometimes, like especially if I'm in my living room, I could be home alone and I'm like, who the fuck is watching TV with me? But like it's all
Bye.
good, you know what I mean? Like I'm watching TV, like I'll be binging like 3 episodes in and then like on episode 4 and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why who's there? But then like
Uh-huh.
it feels, but like even though as a kid, I guess I've had like those like evil attemptive experiences now as an adult, and like I'm back into my spirituality and stuff. Like I'm too strong willed to let those things in, so like I have nothing but good things happen. So even when I feel the energy, I don't even feel scared. It doesn't feel bad. Like it just feels like someone is there, and I'm like, listen, don't eat all the popcorn. You better leave me some, but
You're
I don't
so
mind sharing. And I'm
friendly.
not
You're
changing the show either. Like that's how I am. So I'm just very like open, very like, and it sounds like kind of asshole careless because I know this is about to jump into the next story, but like I literally had a spirit entering one of my friends while I was at home, and then like they were living with me, and like they like entered her and was like talking to me and stuff, and like the whole time I was just sitting there acting like the asshole to the spirit, like thing. I'm like, you want to watch TV? But I really just don't care. Like, it's just care. But it's just like,
it doesn't affect
it's
you
all
kind of thing.
love. Yeah, like, it's all love. I grew up already knowing some, even I didn't pay attention in church. Go listen to the beginning if you skipped up to here. But I never paid attention in church and stuff like that. Like, I always still knew about things, you know? So, like, I've never been afraid
Yeah.
or anything like that. I've always just been more welcoming. And then obviously, you know, if it is something bad, then I'm not a fool. I'm probably just going to stab whoever person it's in.
Oh
Not
my
really. I'm just kidding.
God.
I'm just kidding,
We
friend. I love
don't
you. I would have never
we
stabbed you. I would have never
condone
stabbed you, friend.
violence on this show. We condone sending
That's a
La
good
Llorona
one.
to do our bidding. Shout out
Well, just so
Desi.
y'all know, I just spread love. It was totally a joke, but
She
then
does spread so much love and snacks, apparently. A lot of love and
a
a
Love.
lot of
lot of
snacks.
snacks.
Well, you know this. I make snacks. You came
Oh, you
over.
do. Oh yeah, we
I
made
made
like cinnamon
cinnamon tools
roll.
one time.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
yeah, we made
I'm
cinnamon
like, don't
rolls.
acting like I don't actually make snacks on
And she
friends.
made them gluten
Damn.
free. She made them
Oh,
gluten
very
free.
nice.
They were
Very
so
much.
good. And
Gluten
also,
intolerance, y'all.
one thing I will say, Keyvonna does make a mean smoothie.
Ooh,
Like,
Hey,
you make a real
like
good
gravy.
smoothie. Well, I
I
mean,
like how you're
amongst
very
many things.
simple to please, Nino. I
I'm
mean,
Right.
I
so
don't
I
know why
appreciate you.
everyone in my life has like, God, you're so complicated. I'm literally the
Nah.
simplest fucking person.
Mhm.
I made, grilled cheese, and he's like, can I have any more? And I'm like, it's
No,
just
I'm not
grilled
even
cheese.
kidding you.
I'm like, what?
This was before the diabetes. Like, I'm like, oh, God,
Very much
carbs.
before. Yeah. Um,
Back when Keyvon and I were working out 66 times a week. I don't know why I said 66. Oh my
man.
God, because of the number on the TV screen when you were younger. Holy shit. No, oh my God, now it's impacting me.
I do have a question since we're on that whole physical, mental, emotional changes. Do you experience, because this happens to me a lot, do you experience deja vu?
Yes. All
Yeah.
the time. This happened
Does
to
it
me the other day.
does it heighten more around like full moons or like like certain things happening? Because I feel like, yeah, I
See,
experience
and
deja vu all the time.
this is what I'm talking about, Chrissy, when I say like I'm spiritual, but I still got some more learning and growth to go because I don't study the moon phases and stuff
Right.
like that. So when things happen to me, I'm not like, well, what moon is it going to be tonight? What was it yesterday? You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that. Like, I'm just like, oh, this shit happened. And that's it. I keep it moving. I'm like, what was I doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Keep going.
And then you're sitting there and you're like, wait, did this happen?
Yeah.
And then you're like going through
No,
your memories.
genuinely.
minute. Yeah, no,
Man, seriously. The other day I went out with my friend and I kid you not, like I literally saw the place that we were going to before it happened. I remembered the conversation before she started it. And literally when she did it, I was like, I already know what the fuck you're about to say, even though like I didn't tell her I want her to say it. So but when she was talking, I was like just looking at her and then she was like,
what
she
is
like
that?
kept talking. And then I was like, we still had this conversation. And she was like, I was like, don't you feel like this happened before? And she's like, well, we were here at this place before. And I was like, what happened before? She was like, nah. And I was just like, fuck it. Just fuck it.
Never mind. So I don't want to explain it now.
Seriously,
The
I do
moment's
get like that.
passed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, I never thought about that. I never thought about deja vu and full moons and
Yeah, I've never
mm,
coincided. You need to put me on some stuff after this, Chrissy. I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know a lot about it. I just know sometimes I get more experiences during like full moons or
mhm.
retrogrades or something. Like if something weird
Mm-hmm.
astrologically is lining up, I'm like, something's wrong in the stars. Like I don't want to do it today. Like all this week because I have a youngest kid, right? He's like 5, so it's his first year in school. We've had
Yeah,
meltdowns the entire fucking week going to school, and we're in like the third or fourth week. And I'm like, bruh, like you like
right,
your teacher. What are you doing?
right.
I'm
Bruh.
dropping him off, and like I'm
You
talking to the
know,
teacher who opens the door, and she's like, he's not the only kid that's had a melt, and all of the kids were having meltdowns.
It's Florida.
see.
What? Shut up,
I should pay attention to that crap though. But you know what? That's why I have a friend who kind of put me off a little bit on like studying like moons and stars and phases. Not in like too bad of a way, but every single thing that happens, she relates it to something like that.
Oh no.
And that's why it always turned me off. Like for instance, I was at the grocery store with this friend and then
Stop.
I bought
Stop going
I
to the damn
know,
grocery
always at the
store.
grocery
Right?
store.
Instacart it,
Yeah.
damn it.
Instacart.
Ew. No, because they're not gonna pick the right meat or the
That's
right
true.
berries that I want. Like,
Fair.
I don't do the aisle shopping. I'm the person who really does do produce, meat, home. I'm not going down the junk aisle like that.
That's right.
But I'm getting berries and I go to like load up my car and one of the like blueberries fell out and onto the fucking ground. And this particular friend who's with me is like, we're in retrograde. I think that's why your berries fell because the universe
Bye.
they fell because they were hanging out the fucking bag when I picked it
Yeah.
up. It had nothing to do with the
None.
goddamn universe or
Listen.
anything like that, or the retrograde or whatever the fuck is happening. You break a nail, it's because Mercury just moved. Stop it.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So because of that, I never really like paid attention because like I have a friend who's too obsessive over it to the point where
Yeah.
it just like stuns me away. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh my
No, I
gosh.
get
I
that.
hate
I
it when
get that.
Mercury's in the
Microwave.
Gatorade. It's
I hate
freaking
it when it's in the microwave spinning around.
just freaking looking like a Totino's pizza roll, damn it.
The thing is it makes no sense for her to say like it was like Mercury's in retrograde because technically, like
I'm just
Mercury
making shit up.
has Mercury
astrologically,
exited
I
retrograde
literally
ever?
made that shit up. I literally
no,
don't know,
no, I
y'all.
know, but
So
I'm just
don't
saying
quote
like
this.
for her to use
Okay.
like stuff like that, like saying like Mercury's
Yeah,
in retrograde. Here's this. Mercury deals with your communication and that's it. Like
girl,
it's not
girl.
anything that's like, oh
I'm
look, my
telling
parents
you,
fell down.
man. Or it's just like, oh, my menstrual came a day early. They just put Pluto back into the
They
planets again.
just,
That's your That's why.
you
Or
know what?
maybe my menstrual came a day early because it just came a day early,
Because
girl.
it
You know
just
what I
came a
mean?
day early.
They
People be
just
like,
put Pluto back
Saturn's
in as a
rings
planet.
just shook. One of like, one of the 12 moons of
Yeah.
Earth fell out of orbit.
And
I
it's
don't know.
my nipples hard. There we go. It's just like, thank you so much.
Or it's those people that you know what? That blueberry fell out of your grocery cart because it's a Virgo. Because it's a Scorpio. Everything has to be like zodiac related to it. And I love my husband so much and I know he listens to these. But like not everything has to be a zodiac. And this is coming from the fucking king of horror comedy who made his career off of
Right.
zodiacs. But anywho, I wanted to also ask you, so with these interactions, I mean, obviously like you're offering these energies and spirit snacks and TV time and like hang out.
Yeah, she's emptying
She's
the
over here.
I need to
She's
stop with
fucking
these.
like She's gonna be like,
Yeah,
Nino, hold on for 1 second. There's a spirit who really wants a gluten-free
right.
blueberry muffin. 1 second. Like,
Yeah, he told me to tell you, fuck you. Oh my God.
also, Christy, I love that you went shopping at Spirit Halloween for your mug.
That's a really dope mug.
I have the same one.
Oh,
It
you
was
do?
on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on Spirit Halloween. We should go together, babe.
That's
Yeah.
what
Christy.
happened. My bestie and I, we went Halloween shopping last week. We were like, hey, let's go get some shit, go get
Yeah.
lunch, and then go
Man, they be
shopping.
popping them stores up so early. Like, I'm like, it's 4th of July. Why do I
They
see
could
the
pop
Spirit
them up
Halloween
earlier.
store?
That shit needs to come out in May.
Yeah.
Really?
Girl,
Yes.
because Christmas decorations in some places went up in April.
Oh yeah.
Girl, Christmas took a bathroom
And if
break,
y'all
a quick
smart,
drive
y'all need to
home,
get
and
those Christmas shit after the holiday when it's
oh,
all discounted.
duh. Well, the same thing with
70% off, I'll take
same thing with
5 of those.
Halloween
That's right.
candy.
Yep.
My favorite day on the entire planet is November
The
1st.
day
Not no
after.
more. Not no more
Yeah.
because I'm diabetic. But like, so okay, I wanted to ask you, since you offer so much to Spirit,
I don't even think
snacks,
I'm offering.
TV, drawings, free room to
Really?
stay, has there been interaction with a spirit that you felt was like freaky, scary? And then on the flip side, has there been interactions that were like kind or positive?
Gotcha. Never had a bad interaction, thankfully.
Bitch.
I've only had nothing but good.
This bitch.
I've never had anything but good happen, honestly. And I'm very grateful for that. But
Good.
also, my personality. So if a bad spirit came, that's bad for them, not me. So,
Keyvonna, she would literally be like, oh, you want to talk about mother.
listen, spiritually, I will fuck you up if I could get out this body right now. No, but like anybody who knows me knows I'm very like tough personality. I'm very much like, I don't know. Like I get active. I was in the military a lot because I could be like on a militant at times and stuff, and very like
Kind of.
strong personality. So,
Mhm.
so I don't know. I think just because of my aura, thanks, Mom. I think I can't even allow a bad one to come through because I think they already know what's good. Like they're just like literally pun intended. But no, like they already know like what's up in the sense like she probably fucked me up if she knew. Yeah, I only had good ones. Good ones. My most craziest one will be the most recent one when for the first time a spirit entered a friend's body and it never happened to me before, but I had like full blown conversation and I was like, "Hey." But yeah, so if
Does
you
friend
want,
does friend remember said encounter? Did friend
so
Good
I have
friend.
to tell my friend. So when the spirit entered in my friend, it took me a little moment to notice, but it wasn't too long. But needless to say, this particular spirit said, when I leave, your friend is gonna already told me your friend's probably not gonna remember tonight, but they told me to tell them a message, so I had to kind of like give them a message. And also they were like, your friend is gonna either have a headache or they're gonna throw up. And so I was just like, okay. And so all those things happened once they left.
Oh.
Well, not throw up. Well, she almost threw up, but she was like literally like sitting over the toilet, like
Kind of
doing
like a
all that
hangover.
gawking and stuff. Yeah, and like I thought she was gonna throw up, and then at some point, like she was just sitting there, but she didn't want to be in the bathroom, so I had to like grab like the trash can and like put it in front of her, laying on the couch and stuff, and then she just immediately went to bed like a hangover, like she was just like kind of out of it. She's like, dude, I'm just going to bed. So she like got up like 10 minutes after being on the couch, went to sleep, woke up the next day and was like, what happened? And I was just like, you lying. The whole time the spirit,
Like,
was there, let me just say, I was in total disbelief. And
what is
so
the
I
spirit
didn't,
want?
it was a good one.
Right.
Let me just start from this. It was just a message for me and more for me than my friend. But long story short, I'm in the kitchen making Reese's because I don't buy things. I make everything from scratch if I can.
And it's
Friend,
delicious.
thank you, friend. So I'm making these Reese's in the kitchen, and I'm at the point where I'm like making this chocolate. So at this point, when the spirit decides to come in my friend, I'm a little bit upset because I'm tempering the chocolate and you're playing games.
Is that a
And it's on.
process? That is a
Listen,
process.
and I'm like, I'm on the stand doing the damn thing. What I don't need to do is walk away from the stove. But my
Okay.
friend is literally having like this whole freak out on the couch. So she's sitting on the couch, just like laying there, and she's like having like a little, I like to call it like a little therapy session, but we're like just talking while like making the Reese's. And, she's like having an emotional moment. So she's like crying and stuff. And we're just talking. And all of a sudden, she just starts, I guess, like, it was so random. Out of nowhere, she's crying. And then she starts having like a PTSD moment, I guess you could say, because she did get hit by a car.
Oh
And I
my
could say that.
fucking God.
Yeah, and she got hit by a car definitely. So she all of a sudden snaps into having the car crash happen again out of nowhere. So she's
Oh
all
my
of a sudden
gosh.
like, somebody help me. She's like, I just got hit by a car. And I'm like, what did happen? I'm like, I'm making chocolate.
Sorry.
What's
I don't mean
Like,
to
hold
laugh. I
on.
don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh. Oh my God.
And then I realized like she like laying on the couch just crying, screaming. And then she's like, I see my mom who's passed away. And so I'm like, what the hell is happening? My mom on the couch too. I'm like looking over like, and
That's two
she's
different
like,
types of tempered chocolates. Ooh.
Oh my God.
she's like, did you have this chocolate? And I'm just like, help you what? And so now I'm like, what the
Help
hell is
you
going
how,
on? So now I
babe?
gotta take my chocolate off the stand, walk them over, because she like literally has her hand in the air, screaming for my help. And I'm like, dude, so I'm like walking over with like a glass in my hand of water at the same time, because I'm like, what the hell is she tripping on? And then I grab her hand. She like literally like, I don't want to say levitate because that sounds freaky. But she does jump in the air from the couch as soon as I grab her hand, and then she lands on the couch and she passes out. And so
Nope.
I'm like, you're fucking around, and now my chocolate's probably burnt on top of that. What the fuck? And
Right.
I go back over, check my chocolate while she tapped out. And I'm very, very humorous, but I do care, y'all. So
Right.
I generally am looking at my friend like, is she cool? I got the water waiting. I can see she's breathing. So, there's not much to do but just to leak this shit out. But at the same time, like, what's going on? So then my friend wakes up, and at this point, pouring like the chocolate because I'm finishing up the Reese's. So I'm just making the last part of the chocolate to pour on the top to finish it off and freeze it. So I'm like pouring the chocolate over the top, and this person gets up, my friend gets up, and the first thing she does is she's like looking around the room, and then she takes his friend. My friend is completely blind, y'all. She literally legally cannot drive without glasses. She can't walk without glasses. Like, this bitch can't see. So my friend takes her glasses off after she looks around the room, and she's like looking at the glasses, and then she just like literally puts them to the side, and she's shaking her head like they're bothering. Like she's just like, no, fuck these glasses. Like puts them off to the side. And I'm like, oh damn, like maybe she's about to go clean her face because she just cried and all this stuff. And then like she's literally like pleasantly sitting up straight, and she's just looking around the room now without the glasses on. And I'm pouring looking at this, looking at her, and then she literally come off for like faking the funk and shit or whatever if you need to. But when something big and dramatic like that happens, I got questions. And so if she's all like, so just a little thing, the business that I'm starting up, my second business I'm starting up is in my living room, like in behind us, like, and then the front part, I kind of have it like the casual personal side from when I have company come over. So she's like looking around the room, and she turns around, she's like, Kiki, she's like, asks me like a question about my business, and she's like, what do you think that makes this business so different than your last one? Something along those lines. She asked a question like that, and it's the first thing she has to say to me after she wakes up after the fucking pass out. So I'm like looking at her, and she's like, what do you think? And I'm like, bitch, do you do this often? And she's like, do what? And I'm like, you sat there and had this whole class, and you did all this shit, and you wake up and you don't ask me about my business? And she's like, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. And so, I'm like, I'm just gonna fake this talk with her, but I am gonna circle back to this shit. So I answered her question. And, I just make some positive question like, all the things I learned from my first business, it's gonna be put into my second business, which is like my true desire. So now I know what to do because I learned a lot of what not to do from the first one. And she goes, okay. She's like, I got a question for you. And she's like, do you think, no, she didn't say she had a question, but she's like, okay. She's like, take what you just said. She goes, hold that there. She's like, do you think that the exact same thing you just said today is going to be used again in the future for an interview or in she's like, do you think it's going to be used for an interview in the future? And she's like, exactly what you said. You're going to say that in the future. And I was like, okay, sure. And I was like, I could see that happening because I'm such a positive manifester and like, I always
Yeah.
believe like law of attraction. So I'm like, oh, I know this business is gonna be something because my hands is on it. I want it to be something, and I'm gonna make it something. And she's like, okay. She's like, I'm telling you that you're gonna see it in the future. And I was like, okay, maybe my little arrogant ass. And now I'm telling you, how everything is in the future because I'm not gonna make something out of it. And she's like, this is the first time she says my full name. She's like, I'm telling you, you're gonna be doing it. And I was like, and again, I'm telling you, friend, I know. And she's like, do you really still think I'm Lenora, which is my friend? And I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, oh, you still think I'm your friend? And I'm like, well, what the fuck do you think this is? Like,
Bye.
duh. Like I've known your friend since childhood, by the way. So I'm like, you don't have no schizophrenia. You ain't got dissociative disorder. Like, yeah, I think you're my fucking friend. And she's like, oh no. And so I was like, well, who are you? And she's like, I don't have a name. And I was just like,
Excuse me?
okay, well, if you want to, yeah. And so I'm like, okay, if you want to, and mind you, I'm putting my Reese's in the freezer, walking back over to the couch now.
This entire fucking story is about tempered chocolate and some damn Reese's
No,
cups.
the Reese's is made now. They're in the freezer. And now I'm walking over. All this is in like 2 minutes. So now I'm walking over to the couch and I'm just like, what do you need? And then she's like, I'm not your friend. And then I was like, well, who are you? She's all like, I don't have a name. She's like, we don't have names. I was like, yeah. Yeah. And so she was
Should I
like,
start charging rent? Like, how many have you written?
listen, because we can flip this up however many ways you want to do this shit, you got. But she's like, we don't have names. And I was like, well, who's we? So she's like, the spirits. She's like, we don't have names. And I was like, spirits. And I was like, this is so weird. And so she's like, you just said you believe in spirits because prior to my friend having this whole blackout moment and whatever, I was literally telling her because she was saying like how she wished that she had more time with her mom before but she was in the military. So when she came out, it wasn't much long. So she was just like, I said, don't wish that you weren't in the military. And I was like, all the times that, I saw your mom while you were in, she was so proud of you. You know what I mean? She was so happy. She was happy to tell everyone the little fucking sticker on the back of her car. Like, she was really fucking happy and proud. Don't take that away from your mom. And I told her, I do believe in spirit at this time. And I was like, and I do believe your mom is probably right here with us, and she probably heard you and you offended her. And I was like, so I was like, for your mom, I was like, fuck off. I was like, thanks for serving. I was like, we were all proud and happy. Thanks. So shortly after this is when she has the breakdown, cries, and she passes out. So now fast forward back to where the spirit's like, you just said it. And I was like, okay, you did call me out of my shit. I do. And I was like, but just because I do believe in spirit doesn't mean I'm supposed to jump in my fucking friend. And then we're just having a long, long conversation. Listen, seriously. And I'm just playing music on my TV and whatever. So I'm just like, she's like, well, what do you want to know? She's like, how can I prove to you? She's like, that I'm a spirit. She's like, because I have a message for you. And I'm like,
Bitch,
tell me something that, yeah. And so I was like, well, tell me something that my friend doesn't know about me. And then I was like, you're a spirit. And then they're like, it doesn't really work like that. And I was just like, well, what do you mean?
How does it work?
Right. And so I'm like, well, what do you mean? I just got told like a few things. Like they were just like they were like jump into everybody. And well, first I said, how did you get into my friend? So they're like, we only can jump into people during their most vulnerable moment. And she was like, or they were like, your friend was very vulnerable. They were like, so I jumped in. And I was like, note to self, never cry. No, I'm just kidding.
This is why I'm militant as fuck.
But yeah, they were like, when you're at your most vulnerable moment, you can leave the opportunity if you don't shelter yourself or like protect yourself for a spirit to overtake you. And you're like, took over your friend. And
Girl.
so then I was like, okay, well, what's your name? They're like, we don't have a name. And I was like, they were like, just you guys in this like realm do names to associate names to everything. And like they were like joking. They was like, y'all got a goddamn name for it. Well, they didn't cuss. They were like, and that's how I knew also that wasn't really my friend because my friend got a potty mouth like me. So I'm like, you ain't cussing. And then they were very poised. Like their body stance was different. The way they spoke was different than my friend. So I was like, you don't sound like my friend. Even the way you move is not like my friend. So like I could kind of believe it. But at the same time, I was like, this is still kind of weird. You know what I mean? But then they're like, hold on, they're like, I'm getting a message. And so, me being an asshole, I'm like, okay, well, if God is trying to get your attention to give you a message, what's he calling you? And then they're like, oh, you're really funny. And they're like, you're still trying to get a name out of me. And I'm like, what's he calling you to get your attention when he's trying to pass you a message?
That's a
And
great
they're just like,
question.
seriously. And they're just like, it doesn't work like that. And they was like, they're trying to give you a message. And then like, they're like talking about my friend and like not in third person, like they're a whole separate entity. So like, even though they're in my friend, they're not talking about my friend. They're talking about them separately. So like, they were genuinely separating my friend. Like every time they were talking about themselves, they were like, I. But they would be like, your friend. Like they'll put stuff like that. And never once, the whole time I was talking to them, I was trying to trip them up too. Like I was trying to make them be like, hey, even though I was, and they talk about, he was playing with me, but like, they literally kept it consistent the whole time. So I was like, holy cow. It was just like genuine conversation and me being also okay, like, because it never happened. And even though I'm open to spiritual things, sometimes it's just like too hard to believe certain things. So I was just like, I didn't ask as many questions as I probably should have. And
By
I would
you having
I
an
was just like,
interview.
I really was, but I was like, oh, this is a TV. Did you want me to change the channel? And they were like, it's fine. And they were like, I don't even really know what this is. They were like, this is cool though. And I was just like, they knew like we're playing the music, but like they were like looking at the TV. They were just like, I don't even know what the hell this is, but this is cool. Like I like the fact that the music is coming out of it. And it's like it's a whole goddamn TV. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, what other shows we can watch up in here? And I was like, what are you into? And I was like, we're waiting for Stranger Things to come back on. We're waiting for a few other things to get rebooted. Ginny and Georgia. I was like, so I can't tell
Oh
you
my
many things
God,
that I
Ginny and
clearly have.
Georgia.
It's my shit.
That's my fucking show, bitch. I'll die on that hill. I'll die. Anyway.
I'm like, Wednesday, we watched that. I was like, we could rewatch it if you want. This is me just like being like myself with this damn spirited friend. The whole time they're laughing at me because they're just like, you're funny. And like, I could tell like God was like having a good day when they made you. I could tell the big guy was having a good day when they made you. Oh, he was probably just laughing when they made you. You know what I mean?
You in my house, bitch. The fuck? I'm just trying to make Reese's cups. Like,
you interrupted,
hey, like,
but it was like all love, like it was all jokes, like the way I'm joking now, the way that I was joking with the spirit. So the whole time it was like laughing, but honestly, I was still like always trying to test them. So I was like quiet because I didn't know what to say a lot of times. But it would be funny because like they're like looking at my friend's hands or like just admiring whatever's in the room, and then like we'll make eye contact, and they'll just be like, "You still don't believe me?" Every
oh my
time,
God.
so we'll just stare at them like, what the hell is like just weird. So like, I would just stare in silence and they'll just be looking around the house and then they'll just look at me and be like, you don't believe me, Steph. You know?
Maybe I could temper my fucking chocolate correctly, bitch.
And like the whole time they definitely were it. But they had like a few messages for me from my business or like my personal life. And in fact, they were just like, oh, whatever you're doing right now, they was like, don't stop. It was like, you've been kind of
Keep going.
scattered throughout life, which was true, which is funny because my friend doesn't know as much about it. So that was how I also knew that maybe you know a little bit more. But they were like, you've been a little bit scattered trying to figure things out. And they're like, you are now officially on the right path. They're like, don't move. And then
I
they're
love
just like,
that.
and also I put in a few other like tidbits for like my business and like the future growth of it and like where it was going and stuff. And like, I was like, well, thank you. So it was more like validation that night for like all the things that I was doing, which was a very good thing. But also like, y'all could have just like sent that Harry Potter owl that we were
But
talking
you
about
wanna
earlier
no.
and said good job with the letter on there. And then I would have taken that. But you didn't have to have the whole
She
spirit.
said 100 points
Just
to
in like
Keyvonna.
that.
Could have done like a little dreamscape or something.
We could have
Yeah.
sent a text. We could have,
Listen,
there were
send a
so many more
message.
effective ways to do this.
Let
Oh
me
my
catch the
God.
billboard and just be like, you're doing
Not
great
the
with the thumbs up.
billboard.
Something,
You got this, like, yeah,
Right.
that could have,
I'm like,
that
that's
could
for
have,
me.
that's for
That's
me.
me.
That's for me. That's crazy. Oh my God. Thank
Gee.
you so much for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
This
this
was,
is great.
this is like, obviously, no, Chrissy, you and I still haven't met in person. And obviously, our audience does not know, like, my personal relationship with Keyvonna, but this is hands down one of my favorite people in my life. Like,
Oh, thanks.
single-handedly. This is so funny, so charismatic. You haven't made Reese's cups for me, bitch. So
My bad. You know what's crazy? Because I'm like kind of a little bit of a health nut. I'm mixing with protein powder, so like it's like you
that's
only want to eat like
fantastic.
you know I don't care. Break them.
I'm fucking diabetic, bitch.
You
Like,
only want to eat like one or two, and then you're full because you're just like, did I eat a whole meal? But it's literally just protein up in them. But yeah, I make you some.
thank you. I love how you got a message that you're on the right track. God gave me a message that a couple days ago and said you're a little too sweet. Just little things. But this is like why I love doing what Chrissy and I do with just like stories like this and interactions like them. At some point, Keyvonna will have information for us on her businesses. And is there any place where our audience can like learn more about you, find out about you? Do you have anything up and running that we can share with them?
She's like, well,
She's like, well,
Here's
actually,
the
the
thing,
only thing up and running.
I'm so old school, so I don't like social media. I have them all, and I'll be more than happy to drop them. But I will let you know if you DM me, if you try to add me as a friend, I probably won't respond because I don't go on my social media. Like I am the friend that will call you because
right.
Yep,
it's been a long time.
yep.
Anyway,
And
I'm done.
oh
But
my
anyway,
God,
I'm the friend that will call you. Or if I
she
text you,
would.
I'm texting you to set up the date for us to go hang out. I'm
I can
texting you to
confirm,
have a full
literally have
conversation.
threads of
Yeah,
this. Like, I have
yeah.
threads of this proof.
So yeah, but yeah, I will definitely give you my social. It's literally N, the letter infamous, but the letter N, not the I in front, but
N
infamous
famous
key.
key.
Yep, N
And
famous
key is
key.
spelled like door.
Yes, because my name Keyvonna, but it's literally spelled like I
Love
can't tell you
that.
how many people mess up my name, even though it's spelled literally the way.
And you know what types of keys can unlock certain doors is by purchasing Paranormal Misfits podcast merchandise. Located in the show notes. We're
Listen,
trying to go to fucking New Orleans next year and
Try.
purchasing the merchandise. Perch the merch, okay?
Rich to the merch.
Perch the
hurts
merch.
the merch.
That's a new one.
Nina,
We
you
are
are
real.
good.
I'm marketing genius, babe. Marketing
Listen,
fucking genius. Yeah, we're really trying to go to New Orleans next year, so feel free to perch the merch in the show notes. Big thank you to Keyvonna for sharing all things spiritual and Tostitos chips and grocery stores and
Homemade Reese's cups.
homemade
with
Reese's
some
cups.
yes,
Netflix.
Keyvonna literally said, "My
yes.
name's Keyvonna and I love spooky stuff."
Man, I know, right? I just like to cook, y'all. Damn it.
I
But
just
yeah,
like to, and she makes a mean gluten-free cinnamon roll.
thank you.
Nina's like, I'm dreaming about it right now.
I
Listen, he does bring
listen
this up like every now and again,
every
actually.
now and
So I
again,
genuinely do need to let you.
but make them like low sugar, low carb things. Um,
Okay, so just
so
applesauce style.
so basically just like a waft of cinnamon. Thanks. Thank you so much for being here and
Thanks for
joining
having
us.
me. This
Of
was fun.
course.
This
Thank
was
you.
fun.
Yeah, and shout out to the spirits. All good.
Shout out to the spirits. Shout
No
out
harm, no
to,
foul.
that's right. Shout out
But
to us
stop
not
freaking
being
me out coming in
vulnerable.
our friends.
Send messages
Yeah,
other ways.
Send messages other way.
that
Use a
part.
payphone. Something.
Listen, I just want y'all spirits to know I'm looking at the billboards. So
That's
like if y'all need to put
That's
something up
right.
there, I am looking.
right.
Don't
Or
happen to friend.
maybe look at license plates as well. Sometimes I get messages on license plates.
Really? Because
You know
these
what? I'm
days
gonna leave that
sometimes
one
these
to
license
me.
plates look a little yeah, you do that.
I'm
Because
gonna leave that
sometimes
one
you
for
read the
me.
license plate and then like it's a name and you're like, well, who's Jenny? You're like, clearly, is that the name of the driver? Because that's what your license plate is.
Jenna, just evolve nuancically. No, I'm kidding.
I
Trying
was
to
like,
make
if
it.
he
The
finishes it, this
acronym
is good.
I know.
Oh my gosh, Chrissy, anything that you want to say before I take us out? Not like that though. Not like take us out like death. But-
Damn. There's too many puns with this damn
There
show
really
here.
is.
Damn, way
Man,
too
not even
many.
trying.
I don't have anything currently, so you are free to set sail.
Oh, gosh, thanks so much. Well, y'all, thanks for joining us right here on Paranormal Misfits Podcast. Keyvonna has balloons going across her screen.
And you want to know what's so funny? I don't even know how the fuck that happened. I didn't for shit. This is what I'm talking about. I swear to God, I thought y'all activated that. I thought y'all
No,
did that. Oh,
I'm putting my hands right here so you could just. I'm gonna be like, I'm putting my hands up here. No,
I'm gonna do the Jay-Z.
I'm gonna do the Hova. Actually, no, I'm not because I fear God. So, but
I was
thank
doing
you.
Jay-Z, yeah. That's it.
Thank you to everybody for joining us on a very special episode of Paranormal Misfits Podcast. Thank you to Keyvonna for joining us today and sharing more about her experiences with the spirit
Thank you
from
for
the other
having
side.
me.
And listen, folks, I know that you guys don't want to leave, but since you have to go, you might as well creep out. Bye.
The balloons were a sign for her.
Seriously.
She said, "Send me signs different ways." They're like, "Okay,
Yes.
balloons."